Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDogs.com here with Ron, Jay, Jovan, Al McMorty, Rod, Al Ninos, and Chris Ruffalo as we close out 2022 with hopefully it's a lot of winning picks here. We got a pretty solid card. College football, it's playoff day. This is, I don't know, is this our last playoff day? Does next year start the expanded? Is that how that works? Or is it the following year? I don't know. But could be it'll probably soon be called National Semifinal Playoff Day. Is what this will be in the near future. And of course, we've got a good NBA card as well. I don't look at NHL, but I'm sure they're playing. But anyways, got my wife's got something here in the bag. What is this? Oh my God. Popovers. Love them. This is awesome. And my dog is Sam. What are you doing? Anyways, I'd like to special thanks to Apple for reminding me that it is New Year's Eve and that tomorrow is New Year's Day on my Apple calendar. Ron, how's it going?
There was a good reminder there, but it's going good. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody, and hopefully it's a good day. Get ready for 2023. It's going to be a big year here at Pick Dogs, and I'm excited.
Jay, how's it going today?
Going good, going good. Good card today. Ready to smash it. New year, new goals, new opportunities, ready.
It's going to be a killer year coming up, and it's been a good year, good way to get started, and I think we'll close it out strong here. Jovan, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going, just looking to close out this year on a high note, with some wins, and then carry it over till tomorrow for NFL Sunday to start the year on a good note again.
Big Al, looks like you have our unit lead for the year wrapped up here, unless you go 0-42 today.
I might go 0-16.
Well, I don't know. I still think you might be good. I think you still might be good, even at 0-16. I'm not a goal setter, so you got goals for next year?
I mean, with the family, yeah, I'd like to, try to maybe begin doing some hiking and stuff and be more active. That'd be my goal.
Hiking over at the McMorty house. Isn't like California, like tons of hiking going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I actually proposed to my wife on a hiking trail that's just a few minutes from the house, but it's tough getting away with college basketball and all the other sports going on. But that's my goal. My goal is to try to be more active.
You'll probably run into Ruffalo out there. He's big on the hiking. He likes those long hikes. Actually, you know who is Tony T. is the big time hiker.
Yeah, maybe I should drive out to Riverside and go hiking with Tony.
He's a big time hiker. Anyways, Rod, how's it going?
It's going. Big busy. Happy New Year to everybody, and big 2023. Excited for 2023. It's gonna be a big 2023. I'm excited. It's gonna be a big new year.
It's like
I'm gonna do some hiking too, but I don't have so many hiking trails around where I am. It's just pretty much cow field. So I'll go hike through the cow field.
Well, you know what they say when you're hiking in a cow field? Watch your step. Al Ninos.
I don't know if he's going to be hiking or skiing up there, but anyway, yeah, I mean, definitely got to get more active again. I'm probably in the worst shape I've ever been in my life. So all those New Year's resolutions definitely sound good to me, and yeah, definitely looking forward to a new year and hopefully a better one.
Yeah, I've been working on that COVID-20 for about 4. It does not come off so easy anymore. I'm doing 10 miles a day on my rollerblades. I've been doing it for 4 months. I've lost 7 pounds. That's how hard it is. I guess it would probably help if I stopped eating the cookies, candy, popcorn, and chips too. But anyways, Chris, speaking of popcorn, candy, chips, coffee crisps, sort of Canadian chocolates. How's it going?
I will tell you from personal experience, I am in shape because round is a shape. But everything's going well. Looking ready to finish 2022 strong. Start 2023 anew, and still gonna head in with a bang. Lots of action, lots of college football, college hoops. Those cards are only getting bigger and bigger, but still, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
All right, well, maybe we can all carb up for the big group hike with Al and Tony.
I will still remember how purple you turned on the drive-through laughing hard when Tony T told me I had to carb up for the pick dog shot put competition.
Ruffalo was a high school shot putter. So that's what Tony was like. We were going to get Ruffalo to do the shot put. We Google on Amazon, how to get a shot put. We're going to get Ruffalo out there, and he's
you
wanted
to get the whole increased weight set where it started at like 2.5 pounds and then worked it all the way up to like 20.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited about the new year. We got a lot of stuff planned here for Pick Dogs, man. It is going to be this is the first year that we're really not undigging and trying to piece things back together. It's the first year for me, coming up in 2023 where I haven't really had to put anything back together. It's more like building and growing again. It's been probably the first time since 2017 or 18 that I've been able to do that. So I'm way stoked for it. And I'm also going to pass wager talk on YouTube subscriptions, and I'm going to gloat like no one's freaking business when that happens too. Anyways, figured I'd throw that in. I know if I don't trash talk a competitor, no one's happy. But I don't. It's like I'm only happy when I have something to complain about. Anyways, let's get into the college football games for today. What we'll do is we'll group the first. You know what? Let's just group them all together. We got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm sure everyone's got other things to do. Kentucky versus Iowa, Music City Bowl. The Sugar Bowl features Kansas State and Alabama. Did not make any friends in the YouTube comments and my Alabama comments in my video, but ouch. I thought they've cheap shotted people this year. I just do. I feel that they've gotten cheap because they've gotten beat. Michigan versus TCU in the Fiesta Bowl, which is usually the Fiasco Bowl. The worst calls in bowls always happen in the Fiesta, so you got to be super careful out there if you're thinking about putting a lot of money there. And then Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Georgia versus Ohio State. Georgia gets a home game for this one, and of course Chick-fil-A will be open at that stadium Saturday, closed on Sundays. Ron, what do you think of these four?
Yeah, some may disagree with this, but I do believe that just in terms of talent level, Alabama is a top 4 team. Now, based on resume, they don't deserve to be in the playoff, but just based on talent level, I do think this is a playoff caliber team, and I do think that there's value on Bama because of their disappointing season. You're laying less than double digits right now, and the line's on the move. Right now it's at -8. I'm seeing it at some books, but I still like Bama here at this number. Like I mentioned on the college football show yesterday, Bama only lost 2 games by a combined 4 points. Still a very good team on both sides of the ball. They have most of their players playing in this game, not a lot of opt-outs at all. We're used to seeing that with Bama in recent years, but I like Bama in this one by 10 points at least. I think it could be an ugly one.
All right. What they say about the Bama players is that, they get coached up to about as high as their possible potential, and that's why most of them fall flat on their face when they get to the NFL. There's obviously some exceptions to that rule, but the percentages are super low for success, like Mac Jones. Jay.
I'm going to that same game, and I'm saying the same thing my guy Ron said, man. Alabama, I've been saying they should have been in the college football playoff. They should be in over Ohio State. Alabama did not get beat at home handedly by another team. I know some may disagree with that, but I think Alabama definitely should have been in. I think they take out some of that frustration today on Kansas State. I do like Alabama 10+ too as well in this one. Kansas State, they played well in some big games, but I think Alabama, the much better team in this one, wins convincingly. So I'll lay the points with Alabama in that one as well.
Jovan.
Yeah, I'm a big Alabama proponent. But I just couldn't touch this game on the premium side. Because they have shown that they can get ran on, and K-State, that's what they do. They run the ball. So I like them. It's just a lean. I like them, but that's just because I'm an Alabama fan. So it really doesn't. I could see it both ways. So I'll lean Bama. I like the over more. So if I'm gonna take a play on this, make a play on this game, it's gonna be on the over. I expect a lot of points to be scored. So Yeah, we have it.
Out.
I like Alabama as well. I don't think they're going to, there's a lot of people out there who think they're not going to be interested. I just don't think that's the case at all. There's no evidence that Nick Saban and Alabama teams have not, they've showed up for a lot of the games when they're not competing for the title, and
they've also been rung up in these spots. They've been rung up.
Sometimes they have, and sometimes they haven't. It's
right.
Not like
so. It's not, but it's not like every time.
It's not every time. No, it's like 50.
Most of the time they get rung up.
No, not most of the time at all. I mean, like the last time they were in this spot was against Michigan. They destroyed Michigan in 2020.
That was a horrible Michigan team.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get
they
that.
They did not deserve to be in that game. Who was was Shoelace the quarterback in that one?
But it doesn't matter. They covered the spread by 11.5 points.
Where's Shoelace?
They blew out Michigan State in a similar situation, 49-7. A couple bowl games ago when they weren't competing for a championship. Anyway, I think Alabama will be interested. I think they will show up, and I think they'll destroy Kansas State.
Rod.
And I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Kansas State here plus the points against Alabama. Everybody's it's all I see everywhere. Alabama's going to not take this lightly. Well, I don't think Kansas State's going to take this lightly either. And they're going to come in and run the ball, keep it away from Alabama offense. That's what they're going to try to do. And you look at Alabama, they're 0-4 versus the Big 12. So I'm going to take Kansas State here plus the points against Alabama. I think Alabama wins it by like 3.
Al Niños.
Sticking to the same game, but I'm going to look at the total, and I agree with Jovan here. I think a lot of points are going to be scored here. And
well, now we're going to have to go back through. It's like everyone picked the same game. So we're going to do the playoff games. I don't care. You got to say something.
Yeah, no. My next best lean would be.
No, we're going back to the other games.
Yeah, we're later. Okay. Yeah,
we don't want to hear it twice from you. Or we could skip you the next time through.
No. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you wanted me to go on another game. My bad. No, yeah, but I really like this over in this Alabama Kansas State game. I think both offenses get going. We know Alabama has a great offense, and as Jovan mentioned, not necessarily the best defense in the league. So yeah, I like this one going.
Chris?
I was going to go to one of the other games, but if we're going to go the other way, I'll go with the over here as well. Just two teams that can flat out put up points on the board. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. We've seen the same thing from Kansas State against much of the Big 12 this season, and Alabama. They can still put up points in bunches. I think Kansas State's going to rise to the occasion though as well. I like this Kansas State offense a lot, so give me the over in this one.
Kansas State money line for me, man. This Alabama team, we've seen them drug up and down the field several times this season. And when that happens, it ain't pretty. And what's happened to Alabama is when they know they're beat, when they know they're outplayed, what they do is they start cheap shotting. And that's what we've seen them do all season long. Really a pathetic showing by Alabama this year. They should win the national championship every single year. They have the highest paid coaches. They have the highest paid players. They get every player that they want. They should win the national championship every single year. And the fact that they didn't this year, those cheap shots, I'm telling you, when it gets bad for Bama, it gets bad. They get drugged up and down the field. And we saw it when Deshaun Watson did it to them. We saw it when Joe Burrow did it to him. And we're going to see the Deuce do it to him here in this one. This reminds me so much of that Utah-Alabama Sugar Bowl when Utah just rung them. And it was the same thing. Oh, that was before there were opt-outs. And believe me, Utah, man, they sent Alabama a beat down in that game. Alabama scored some points late to dress it up a little bit, but it was one-sided. I think Utah was up 50-0 in the first quarter. It was 21-0 in the first quarter, Utah. Game. And I think this game's going to be very similar. I think Alabama's going to start cheap shot and crying the same Alabama bullshit that we see all the time. Overrated crap for the Tide this year. Generally, very good teams, but this just shows you cannot reload. This is something that, like in college football, eventually you come to the end of the rope. You can't always reload because the recruits, they don't hit. They don't hit. this guy in the comments, Bama -6.5. That's not the line. Okay. The line isn't 6.5. And if you need to tease it down to 6.5, then you're on the wrong team. You take the points with the other team, man. It's like if you say you need 6.5, in this, then you don't believe they can cover the spread. This is stupid, man. Doesn't even make sense. Here, you want to give away money? I'll take it. Anyways, besides that, I've had some adamant things like this on the show and I've gotten crushed on this. Hence my Clemson Notre Dame pick. Anyways, we go to the playoffs. I don't care, man. I'm not letting these guys duck the playoffs. We got Michigan and TCU. We will go through them individually if we have to. Michigan, TCU, and we've got who's playing the other one? Georgia, Ohio State. Ron, what do you think of these games? One or the other?
I'm going to say something. Yeah, TCU, Michigan. I'm going to take the under. Yeah, there was a stretch for TCU towards the beginning of the year where they were giving up 30-plus points in 4 of their 6 games. But down the stretch, they played very well defensively, and particularly in the secondary, where overall this season giving up only 53.9% completion to opposing QBs. They're able to get some pressure on the opposing quarterbacks as well. And Michigan, we've seen them plenty of times this season have some red zone inefficiencies and struggle to put touchdowns on the board when they get inside the red zone. We saw that a lot in that Michigan State game where it was a 29-7 final score, but Michigan had so many chances to win and cover the spread in that game, just couldn't do it because of their red zone problems. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I'm going to take the under.
Mark Ingram, Julio Jones, they were all in that Utah game against Alabama. They all played. They got rung. Anyways, Jay?
Y'all know I love my Texas teams, man, but I can't get there with them today. Michigan is the side for me today. I think Michigan, man, they're just going to control both lines of the scrimmage, man. TCU this season, they're a big play offense, but I think this Michigan defense is one of the better ones they've seen all season. And I don't know if those big plays are necessarily going to be there. On the other side, Michigan can beat TCU in every fashion of the game, man. They could run the football on them. They could throw the football on them. I see a 10-point win in this one for Michigan, too. Michigan, I think, is going to win the national title this season, and I think they start the playoffs off by a pretty convincing win. So I'm going to lay the points there in that one, Michigan.
Yvonne, it's the 2 playoff games we're going over. Since nobody gave a pick on, I'm kind of forcing the issue here. You got to just pick one or the other.
So I like the under in the OSU Georgia game. I just think it's going to be one of those games where, both teams, they pretty much, control the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a battle in that one. And I think the defense is on both sides in the trenches are going to, be able to call the shots in this one. And I think the offenses are both going to be able to move the ball, relatively well. But I think there's going to be, once they get into the 30 to the 20-yard line, there's going to be a lot of stalling out, especially early in the game. So I think, relative to this point spread, to this total at least, 62, 63, somewhere around there, I think it stays under that. I think we get to maybe the mid-50s, a little back and forth towards the end of the game. But I could only take the under in that game.
Big Al.
Well, I've got to go with my Wolverines. Better yards per rush compared to TCU, both offensively and defensively. Michigan's offensive yards per rush is 5.5, TCU 5.2. Michigan's defensive yards per rush 3.1, TCU is 4.0. Michigan's won 18 out of the last 19 games. The only team to beat them was Georgia. Georgia's a lot better than TCU. And then you take a look at how these playoffs have gone with, point spreads above 7, 7.5 or more. I think the favorites are 7 and 3. I just think Michigan I agree with Jay. I think Michigan wins the national championship this year.
What are they going to do? Split it out and I mean, that's how Michigan wins national championships, right? Like they play Oregon, who's like 5-6 or something, right? And everyone else plays against each other.
No, I think you're confusing that when that's how BYU won. BYU played a 6-6 Michigan team, and that's how BYU won the championship. Michigan, split it with Nebraska when they beat
but Nebraska offered to play. Nebraska offered to play them, and they didn't play it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of tough when you're contractually obligated to the Rose Bowl. I mean, Nebraska would have been favored in that game by 8.5 points. I mean, Nebraska
team won 3 national championships in 4 years. They went to Miami and beat a Hurricanes team that hadn't lost at home in 11 years. And beat them in the Orange Bowl. They beat Florida the next year, 56-14. They would have wrung Michigan's neck.
They probably would have. I don't disagree with that. But, this is 2022. It's not 1997. So
I know, but we still got to hold a grudge.
Well, I mean, it's right now Nebraska is just trying to get a coach. So
true. But they got a pretty nice trophy case in Lincoln. Anyways, Rod.
I'm going to go to the other game. I'm going to take Georgia here over Ohio State. You look at Ohio State, they didn't fare so well against the good teams. 0-3-1 ATS in the last 4 versus teams with winning records. And look, they scored 23 points to get Michigan. This Georgia defense is just as good as Michigan's defense. And definitely going to hold Ohio State down. I think they score about the same into the 20s. Georgia can score more than that into the 30s, 40s. I'm going to lay the points with Georgia. They are the better team in this one.
Alninos.
I like the over in the TCU Michigan game and the under in the Georgia Ohio State game.
I just think, and it's like, I mean, maybe Michigan wins the national championship. I maybe they do, maybe they don't. But those are earned on the field. And Michigan leads the country in national championships that they give out on TV shows and stuff like that. Basketball too, same thing, man. Remember, was it 2 years ago? Michigan's going to win the national championship. They didn't even make the Final Four. Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, they always get like the benefit of the doubt. It's like they always get the benefit of the doubt. It's like I'd love to. I don't know if it happens, but anyways, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Rod. I like Georgia laying the points. Not much more I can add to that. I mean, Georgia, I think, is just, a more complete offensive version than Michigan because they at least have the passing game to work with as well. And, I like both defenses from Michigan and Georgia. But I just think you're going to see the same result for Ohio State here. Like Rod said, it's just going to be a lot to a little. Ohio State probably scores into the 20s once again here. But I could easily see Georgia get into that 38 to 41 point range in this one. I like Georgia to win this one and cut the cover as well.
I like the over in the Ohio State Georgia game, or the Ohio State Georgia. I like the over in that one, and I think TCU's got a legitimate shot against Michigan, but I don't think the refs are going to let them have it because the Fiesta known for Big Ten calls, all the way. We'll see what happens, but I think TCU going to surprise some people. Michigan, when we looked at our college football rankings. Them all out because she's like college football season's over. But when we looked at it, Michigan started the season ranked 3rd or something. TCU was 55th to 75th when we looked them up. Phil Steele, right? Phil Steele more right than any other magazine. Yeah, because all the other ones were not even freaking close, right? We went through it and it was like, what they have? Texas A&M was 6, like almost across the board. He had them 6 too, and
Oklahoma up there too.
Yeah, Oklahoma was like 8, 9 or something, and Oklahoma State was like up there also. And then, but TCU, Phil Steele had them 55th, so he was more accurate than everybody else. The other guys had him 65 to 75. I don't know. I just think that in these games, we know the officiating gets worse and worse every single year, and it's going to be sad when we watch it today, I'm sure. It's going to be awful, but it is what it is, and just get ready for it. But it doesn't mean that the point spread will be affected. I think TCU is the better team, but that's besides the point.
Michigan.
Sucker. you like the Maple Leafs too? It's like the same thing, man. It's like root for a team that never wins.
Hey, easy.
Never win. Never win. If they win, we give them credit. But but they have to earn it on the field, and that's something they haven't done in my lifetime.
I like the other Toronto team, Blue Jays.
They haven't done it. Michigan hasn't done it in my lifetime. That split title, whatever, they would have got rung. I mean, it would not have even been a game. Nebraska offered to play them on a neutral site, and Michigan said no. That's what happened. Michigan, I mean, like I'm saying, they always get the benefit of the doubt. They never back it up on the field. So we'll see if this year is different. It's like Michigan fans are disappointed. It's like, for what? You guys have never won anything, man. You have nothing to be disappointed about. Anyways, I love college football, and this is the best part of it. Pacers against the Clippers, Hornets against the Nets, Bulls against the Cavs, Rockets against the Knicks. Ron, any of these four?
I'm going to take the points with the Rockets against the Knicks. As a Knicks fan, you got to learn not to get too excited. And we saw the Knicks go on a nice little win streak. But then as of late, not as impressive, back to 500 on the season. Have lost 5 in a row, and including their most recent loss, an embarrassing loss to the Spurs. No offense, Mr. McMorty, but to lose that game by 7 points, that's just not what a playoff team can do. As a 4.5-point favorite, I don't want to lay points with this Knicks team right now. And the Rockets actually, as of late, have been playing pretty well fundamentally. So give me the Houston Rockets plus the points, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another Knicks loss.
Actually, the shoelace game, Al, was that was when Bama played Michigan in the opening game of the season. The shoelace bowl game was the one where he got decapitated by what's his name? The guy DeMarcus Jadeveon Clowney. I don't think it was it him that he hit? I don't remember who he hit. Somebody. It was one of the best hits in bowl history. That was decapitated that guy. Not the best Michigan teams. I say if Michigan wins, we give them credit. They don't win. Same old shit.
Well, I mean, hey, they've won more than Texas A&M.
No, they've won more than Texas A&M. They've won more than a lot of teams, but they've also played. They've also haven't really won anything. And
well, not in our generation.
Right.
I mean, they won in the 1920s.
Right. That's a long time ago.
Sure.
That's pre Black players doesn't count.
Well, it counts. It's just not our generation.
Anything before scholar. So when Notre Dame had 195 people on the roster.
Do the Yankees titles count?
Not in my book.
Okay. Well,
Anything pre-scholarship limitations in college football, pre-Black players doesn't count.
Well, I think it all counts. It's just, it's Michigan. They've won one title in 50 years.
Well, it wasn't really. It's not even really a title.
Well,
it was a lifetime achievement award at best.
There was. I mean, I don't know how you distinguish between any of those titles. I mean, BYU won a title. They weren't the best team.
They beat us. If you beat us in that era, you deserve the title. They beat us. We separated both of their quarterback shoulders on both of them, and they still came out onto the field and beat us. It's like that is a lot more impressive than 9 home games in an 11-game schedule. Way more. And a win over a very mediocre Ohio State team. I just, I don't see it, especially when you had a Nebraska team that also beat us. I think in order to have a national championship in that era of the 80s and the 90s, if you had to have beaten Miami or Florida State to get there, that pretty much is the way that it works. Or Notre Dame. You had to beat one of those 3 teams to get there. And Michigan didn't do that, but Nebraska did. They beat Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis. Anyways.
Who did Nebraska lose to that year? Was that Colorado or someone? Who beat them?
I don't think I think they went undefeated, right?
No, I thought they lost late in the year, which is why they were in that problem to begin with. Or they tied Colorado, or they did something.
It was us. It was us that had lost. They were undefeated, and that's why they offered to play Michigan.
I don't think they were undefeated.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they were.
I thought they maybe tied or lost to somebody.
No, that Tommy Frazier team. It was So it was it was the
97.
So it was the 94 Orange Bowl, which I happened to be at the game. It was Nebraska was.
They beat Tennessee 42-17. Yeah, they were undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, I was at the game. I could tell you.
Yeah, they were undefeated. They almost lost to Colorado. That's what happened. It was 2 weeks before they were favored by 21 points, and they escaped against Colorado 27-24, and that's what caused them to, I think, fall down in the polls.
I mean, we had a legitimate team that year, you know. They beat us. It's like it happens. Yeah, I mean, we're stacked. We're absolutely stacked. God, how do we lose to those guys? Anyways, back to these games and NBA.
I'll go 2 games right here quickly. I'll lean Cavs. I think that this should be a bounce back spot against the Bulls. The Bulls, they have been playing better here recently, man. And I know the Cavs have lost 3 straight, but I think the Cavs are just a much better team in that one. And I can see that as a bounce back spot. And I like another bounce back spot for the terrible New York Knicks, man. I know that sounds crazy, but I know they just lost to the Spurs. I know they lost 5 straight after winning 9 straight or 7 straight, however many it was. But I think tonight they do bounce back against a Houston Rockets team. I see like an 8-point win for the Knicks out on the road. The Rockets, they're not playing well right now. I could see if it was, at a span where they were playing well right now, but they just got dominated by the Mavs and the Celtics. I mean, those are not 2 teams. Those are 2 teams that it's not too terrible to get dominated by, but I just think that the Knicks could use this as a bounce back spot. So I will lay the points with the Knicks in this.
We had the Rock that year. See him? Jovan?
Yeah, this Clippers Pacers game, I'm gonna go with the over in this one. These 2 teams met in November, and I believe it's 114 to 100. I think the Clippers won, but I think in this one it's gonna be a looser game, faster paced game. Both teams scoring. I like the way that the Clippers have been scoring in the last several games or 5 games, and the Pacers, they're gonna have to match them point for point, which I think they could do at home. So I think this total can be had. So I'll take the over.
Al?
I'll stick with the same game, but look at the side. Indiana off back-to-back upset wins. They scored a lot of points in those 2 upset wins. When you get teams off back-to-back upset wins, when they scored 120 or more points in those 2 games, those teams have gone 8-29 ATS. Clippers also away from home when they're not favored by more than 5. And they're playing an opponent off an upset win. They're 118-57 ATS. Clippers also 77-56 ATS off a straight up loss. I'll take the Clippers minus a 3 or 3.5.
Nebraska had Lawrence Phillips on that team.
Yeah.
They ran him with Brooks Behringer was the QB. Remember Corey Schlesinger? He played in the NFL for a long time. The fullback. He played for. He was really good. He's the one that scored the winning touchdown on us. We had Kennard Lang on that team too. Played many years for the Washington Redskins. Rod?
In this group of games, I like the under between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. You look at the Cavs off of a loss, 5-2 to the under following a loss, and you look at the Bulls off of 0 days rest, 8-3 in their last 11 to the under off of 0 days rest. They're also 7-0 to the under in the last 7 games when all 5 starters combined for more than 160 minutes of play in the previous game. I like the under between the Cleveland Cavs, Chicago Bulls. Take the under.
Alninas.
Yeah, this was honestly a pretty tough card for me to go to make some big bets on, but definitely got a lot of leans here, and it's a lot of question marks, especially in this time slot here. I mean, like if Evan Mobley plays, I like the Cavs. If he doesn't, I'm probably gonna ride with the Bulls, or maybe just stay away from that game on the back-to-back. Actually, more so on Jalen Brunson. I guess if he plays, I like the Knicks to bounce back and finally snap that losing streak. But they've looked terrible without him. So if he's out, probably on the Rockets or just pass again. And then the Nets. I like the Nets first quarter, first half, and I'm not too thrilled about the full game number. So, I mean, if any of those bets go south, you could definitely find a better live number on the Nets full game. So I'll be looking for a better number in game for the full game on the Nets.
So actually, Michigan, they had won outside of the 20s, 1947 and 48. They won as well.
Yeah,
for that 97 title. But they also have 2 men's trampoline titles in 69 and 70. Chris? Ruffalo, were you did you try out for the Michigan trampoline team?
I did. That's why they had to take a year off from the program.
I wonder if you get a scholarship for that.
Yeah, they're like, we'll pay you for your education. Just leave. Like, get out of the way. We're trying to practice here. I'm gonna take the Cavaliers. The Chicago Bulls against the Cavs. I'm gonna take the Bulls plus the points. The Bulls are just, they're a decent team at home, but it's more about the Cavaliers really struggling on the road this season, 6-10 straight up. And they're 1-9-1 against the spread in their last 11 road games. The Bulls on the back-to-back, but they're 4-0 against the spread in the second half of back-to-back. I'm going to take the Bulls here plus the points, put a little bit on the money line as well.
So they did not win the baseball championship with Jim Abbott. I thought that they had won the championship with him.
No. They made the World Series a few years ago and, played above their heads. But
Jim Abbott's, his team was really good, right?
Yeah, but Michigan always was hampered because they were a cold weather team, and in baseball, the teams like Mississippi State and all the teams in the warmer climes, had a huge advantage in the baseball.
But Jim Abbott was a pretty good advantage.
One player, yeah. They had Sabo was Michigan too, Chris Sabo.
Yep. But Jim Abbott, he pitched the no-hitter for the Yankees too, 4th of July. No-hitter. Yankees, I think, have a bunch of 4th of July no-hitters. Jim Abbott was one of them. I was at a Yankee 4th of July. Dave Righetti against the Red Sox. Struck out Wade Boggs on 3 pitches, final at bat. It's awesome. Anyways, I always get sidetracked. Back to these games. I like the Nets against the Hornets. I just think they're playing really good basketball right now. The Hornets, I think, are improved with ball in the lineup, but I don't think they get it done. I like the Clippers against the Pacers. The Pacers are playing well. I've done really well on them, but I've also done really well on the Clippers. So going to go to them. And boy, that Bulls Cavs, something stinks. I'm going to stay the hell away from that thing. Just something looks very smelly there. As you go to the Spurs and the Mavericks, Jay Briggs probably has an opinion there. Got Memphis against New Orleans, Minnesota against Detroit, OKC versus the Sixers, and the final game of 2022, the Jazz and the Heat. Ron?
I'm going to take the points with the home dog and OKC, the Thunder. Haven't been impressed with the Sixers as of late. The last 2 games, the defense has really struggled. Haven't been very good rebounding as well, and the Sixers haven't played very well on the road at all this year. They're 6-9 overall, so I wouldn't want to lay this many points against a team like the Thunder, who has a winning record at home straight up, and they've looked pretty good as of late overall. So give me the points here with the Thunder. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3rd straight loss for Philadelphia outright.
Jovan.
Look at this Pelicans Grizzlies game, and I'm on the Grizzlies in this one. The Pelicans coming off a good win against the Sixers last night, but then they had to travel second night of a back-to-back, and I just think that all of that combined should lead to a Grizzlies victory, a comfortable one at that. We all know that the Grizzlies at home are a different animal, and they're coming off a win in Toronto, I believe, nice double-digit win. So I think first game back, after a day's rest, I think the Grizzlies come in and thoroughly beat down the Grizzlies. I mean, not beat down the Pelicans in this one. I just think it's one of those trifecta spots.
It's becoming a rivalry.
Yeah, not the rivalry that the Pelicans and Suns are though. That's
Big Al.
hate.
I'm going to take my Spurs, plus the points against Dallas. Dallas on a nice win streak, of course, won their last 5. The last game was against, Houston, a division rival, but Dallas 1-10 ATS off a home division win. And the Spurs, they just, they just keep killing me by winning these games. So why not do it again tonight? I'll take San Antonio.
Rod?
For me, in these games, I'm going to go with the same Spurs game, but I like the over in this one. You look Dallas over their last 3 games, averaging 126 points a game, and you look at the Spurs averaging 120 points a game over the last 3. So both teams definitely been scoring the points. Mavs 4-1 their last 5 road games versus a team with a losing home record to the over, and the Spurs 6-0 the over in their last 6. I like the over in this one. Track me, take the over. Dallas Spurs.
Al Ninos.
Take the Mavs first quarter, and again, kind of similar story to the Nets. If they go down at any point, I'll be looking to live bet them. Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Spurs as well, plus the points here. Dallas has favored of five or more points this season, 4-15-1 against the spread, including 1-10 against the spread when they're laying between 5 and 7. And on the road when they're laying at least 5 points this year, Dallas just 2-5 straight up, 0-7 against the spread. And I got to take the Spurs here, plus the 6.5.
Pistons for me. I just can't stand the Timberwolves, so it's like these guys have just been very painful for me. So I just think the Pistons cover here. I don't think they win the game, but I think they make it close enough. I think that the Timberwolves, they're really good at handing the other team the cover, in the last minute or so, and I think they hand the Pistons this one.
I didn't go in this slot.
Did I cut you? I cut you guys off?
You cut me off. It is cool.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. I absolutely love the Jazz tonight against the worst cover team in the NBA, the Miami Heat. Miami 12-22-2 against the spread, have only covered in 35.3% of their games. They get smashed tonight at home. I know the Jazz have been struggling here recently, but that's because they've been on the road on a long road trip. They return home to where they play their best basketball. Miami is also on a back-to-back after getting beat last night. Man, I think they get slaughtered tonight. I would look at laying extended with Utah tonight at home. I think they dismantle Miami tonight. And I think we got to continue rolling with the Mavericks, man. They're in that mode right now. I know they've also been terrible against the spread this season, but here recently they've given us some reason to want to ride them, man. And they're playing another weak team here tonight in the San Antonio Spurs. I think they just kind of beat up on them. And I'll lay the points with Dallas. 5 games straight. Dismantled the Rockets in their last one. Luka Doncic is starting to look like that MVP player, and I think Christmas Day was a real turning point for this team. I can't fade them tonight. I did the other night with the Rockets, and I paid the price for it tonight. I think we're in there for another big win in there. So Mavericks and Jazz for me in that slot.
All right, well, we go to the NHL, and I don't know who's playing. Let me take a look. Here's a sport that if they canceled the season, I wouldn't notice. Oh, man. Look at all these games. Bruins and the Sabres, Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks, Vegas and Nashville, Kings versus Flyers, Capitals, Canadians, Tampa Bay, Phoenix, St. Louis against the Smudges, Avalanche versus the Maple Frauds, Leafs versus Senators, Star versus Sharks, Auto Fades versus the Canucks, and we got the JTS Jets. I don't see the Fighting Romanellis playing here today.
No.
Anyways, they got the day off.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wanting to watch a game with my dad tonight, but tomorrow they play the Kraken. In this card, not my favorite hockey card, but small lean for me with the Senators on the money line. I just think it's a good price. I think Ottawa's a much better team than what their current record is. Both teams, for Senators and Red Wings, have made pretty big improvements compared to last year, but I think Ottawa takes this one favorite on the road, so give me Ottawa money line.
Jay, anything here?
Nah, one play for sale today, and that's it.
How about you, Jovan? Gonna lace up the skates for New Year's Eve?
Yeah, absolutely not.
I got the magic 8-ball, the lucky penny, and a set of dice for you.
Yeah, give me the lucky penny.
Give me the lucky penny, right?
Which game you going with a lucky penny?
Oh no, just pick one.
I gotta find the lucky penny. I think he's on my other desk, but we are gonna bring him back for 2023. He does have that stellar record. Al, any of these hockey games?
Yeah, I've got one play at Pick Dogs Premium for sale. My next best play, which didn't make the premium, would be Vegas Golden Knights against Nashville.
Rod, anything on this beautiful card?
For me, this was, I'm going to take a shot here with Buffalo over Boston here. I know it's an early game, and Boston's one of those teams that sometimes they don't fare so well in these early games, not getting up for games. They like to party, so that I know for a fact. So Friday night's a party night for this Boston team. I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres in that one. I definitely think they got a shot. I like the Flyers plus the puck and a half in against the Kings. That's a 1-goal game all day. And the other one, I like the over between Vancouver and Calgary. And I lean to the Canucks, do a little Canuck dance to kick off New Year's Eve. Go with the Canucks.
Yeah, I agree with Rod. I mean, the Kings been pretty impressive this season, but they are way overpriced in this one, I think. But the other one I like a little bit better, I guess, is the one Big Al mentioned, is Vegas Golden Knights. They're at home with the rest advantage. I'll take them -1 or in regulation if you're not a fan of the -1. And slight lean to the Wild, but I mean, the Blues have stepped up lately, so I'd be careful with that one, but slight lean to the Wild as well.
Be careful, Chris. Be careful, Chris. Stop
It's
worrying
wild
about
out there.
It's crazy.
Nothing I can't handle. But no, I'm taking the Boston Bruins on the puck line all day in this one against Buffalo. Buffalo's had no luck against the Sabres, but Boston's won 7 straight by a combined score of 32-10. 6 of those 7 wins coming by at least 2 goals. I'm taking the Bruins all day in that one. Still 18-0-2 at home this season, so until it stops working, I'm going to keep going with the Boston Bruins there. And I'm going to go. I know the reaction. I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs against the Colorado Avalanche. I know, but you know what? They like playing in Colorado. They're 7-3 in the last 10 meetings in Colorado. They always struggle against the Arizona Coyotes, so I'm not reading too much into that. I think the Leafs come to play here against one of the better teams in the NHL, in the Colorado Avalanche. We're still dealing with some injuries, so I'll take the Leafs in that one.
Parlaying up the Vancouver Canucks and the Colorado Avalanche on the reverse puck line for me in regulation. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I can't fault you for it. I'm just saying. I
mean, we're playing with house money this week. That reverse puck line on the Coyotes. It's gonna pay the bills for quite some time.
That had to have been plus 500 at least.
Yeah, six and change.
Yeah, that sounds.
It's like I said, Leafs always struggle against Arizona. Bet on Arizona twice against the Leafs next season. You'll make a nice amount of money too.
And parlay it with the Canucks. The that reverse puck line on the Avalanche. The defending champs closing out the year in style. Mopping the floor with. See, what you have here is a team that actually wins Stanley Cups against a team that on paper wins cups. It's kind of like you should parlay Toronto and Michigan. Toronto to win the Stanley Cup, parlayed with Michigan to win the national championship. I actually think Michigan has a better chance, a lot better chance. don't get me wrong. I think Michigan could win the national championship. I just think they have to earn it on the field first.
The East in the National Hockey League is the toughest. It's a gauntlet. There's so many good teams in the East compared to the West.
I think Toronto's the second best team in hockey right now.
On paper.
But they haven't won anything.
I know. But
Here's the issue, right? And this is the issue they're everything that's wrong with professional sports, right? Chicago Cubs, Toronto Maple Leafs. The Cubs at least have the one World Series that they won recently, but ever since then they just decide, now we have the one, we're good for, another 100 years. Because when you go to Wrigley Field, regardless of what the team's record is, the place is generally fairly packed. They charge full boat pricing for everything. Chris goes to the Maple Leafs game. We've had this discussion on our weekday shows. Tickets are going for $300 a pop, 2 beers, $31. Why do you care if you win or not? Why do you care? It's a business. And the owners of professional sports teams and the leagues have made it very, very clear to the fans that this is a business, that they do not care about us. When they'll say we'll sit out the season over 0.5% on revenue gate share, that's when they say we do not care about you. And that's what they did with baseball, right? The season was delayed last year, and it came down to like 1/4 or 1/8% of something. That's exactly what it came down to. So that means we do not care about you. We care about our $31 beers and who gets $16 of it and who gets 15. That's what they care about.
And these are the same fans that stuck around with the Leafs when they finished dead last in the NHL. But it's also the fact that they're the fans of the team that finished dead last in the NHL, but the fans still paid those prices and still sat on a waiting list for $50,000 season tickets in the lower bowl. So no one to blame but ourselves.
Got no one to blame but yourself.
We can blame Matthews. That guy doesn't do anything in the playoffs. He has a great regular season and he shines, but then when he's really got to shine, he doesn't step up.
That's Mitch Marner that doesn't show up. It's Austin Matthews is fine. It's Mitch Marner that doesn't show up.
Both of those guys. All those overpaid bums.
2 words. John Tavares.
Yeah, they just disappear. They hit the playoffs and it's just like, oh, what happened to these guys? All of a sudden scoring dries up. It's ugly.
Yeah.
John
Tavares, at least he could get some playoff action for once.
Yeah, he was the reason why we didn't make the playoffs. And ever since he left, we haven't missed except last year.
Wrong with the quick comeback.
Made it to 2 semifinals. We had more winning times without John Tavares in the last 5 years than we did the 25 years prior.
Okay, I put my foot in my mouth. Okay, there you maybe admit it.
He's a snake, and he's terrible defensively, and he's slow.
Hey, easy. That's my captain.
Very slow.
Getting
Super
personal
slow.
here. Getting personal.
He's a snake.
I'm just happy that someone's talking to me about having a conversation about being slow, and it's not about me.
As long as the Leafs don't have to play the Bruins in the first round, they should be able to get out of the first round.
Or the Lightning.
They could cancel the whole thing. I wouldn't even notice. All right. We go to college basketball, something that we care about. We got a lot of good teams in action today. Probably going to skip over some of these when I read them off, but if you have something in the time slot, feel free to share it. Ron Romanelli, red hot in college hoops this week. UK Louisville, Wake, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Seton Hall, St. John's, Xavier, UConn, TCU, Texas Tech, Duke, Florida State, St. Joe's, St. Louis. We'll just stop there. Everything up until 2 o'clock start. Pre-2 o'clock.
Okay. I'm going to take Seton Hall, lay the points against St. John's. I don't look to back St. John's very often when they're playing on the road. Not a good road team the last few seasons, and that includes the beginning of this year now, who they've lost their first 2 true road games to Iowa State by 11 and Villanova by 15. So 2 blowout or 2 double-digit losses. And Seton Hall, I think, is much better than its current record. I like the Pirates to win this game by 7 points plus. Also in that time slot, I'm looking towards ETSU. They're coming off an upset win over Wofford in their most recent game. I still think they can beat VMI here. VMI, was off to a good start shooting the basketball especially from 3-point range, but they're not as good as their record shows. And, this defense for VMI is a sieve. We saw Furman score basically at will in their most recent game, scoring points from the perimeter, inside the paint. It was an ugly defensive showing. I don't trust it in this spot, so give me ETSU laying the points.
What are you selling today?
So I've got a 3-pack on the website. It's got my top college football play and the college football playoff, college hoops play, and my NBA play. $15 college hoops play as well on the website. Hit 4 in a row.
Jay Briggs, what do you think of this time slot, and what are you selling today?
Yes, sir. In this time slot, man, I'm going to the Texas Tech TCU game, and I'm going to take the points with Texas Tech in that one. These are two really good teams, both of them. But I think this one is just going to come all the way down to the wire. And I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech won the game outright. But if you're going to give me 6.5 with a solid Texas Tech team, I'll take them here in this one. I think if anything, best case scenario, I think TCU wins this one by like 4 points. So I think due to the late game fouling situations, but I'm gonna take Texas Tech now and plus the points. And here in this time slot for sale today, I have 4 NBA plays up there on the site, man, including my $15 NBA Jam Session play. And then I have 2 college football up there today, as well as an NHL play. So you can catch all that over at Pick Dogs Premium, broken down however you want to do it. So let's continue stacking some units.
All right, Jovan.
Yeah, look at this UConn Xavier game. I just think this game is too low of a point spread now, for me. So I'm gonna jump all over the Huskies in this one. They last couple lines have been a bit deflated. Actually, hell, most of the lines in UConn games have been inflated, but they've been covering except for the last couple. The Villanova game, there really hasn't been a team yet that's really challenged UConn. I don't think Xavier has will in this spot, even though UConn is on the road. Villanova did have a good showing, but they were really never in position to threaten UConn. Not really, they got it to within 5, maybe 3 points late, but UConn basically had that game in hand. So I just think that it's a continuum for UConn to do what they do, which is win games this season. I just don't think that Xavier is the team to knock them off for their first loss this season.
What are you selling today?
I have the play in the Peach Bowl and the I'm drawing a blank on the name of the two college bowl series games, the 2 big ones. I have individually packaged. Then I have a 5-pack in the in college basketball.
All right. Big Al, what do you think of this time slot?
Oh, I'm going to go against Javon. I'm going to take Xavier in a revenge roll against UConn. Xavier 81-48 ATS off a straight up win when they were playing with revenge. So I'll go against UConn here. Huskies get their first loss of the season. As far as what I'm selling, I've got right now 15. I'm going to probably add a 16th play in a little while, but I've got 15 plays now. I've got 11 in college basketball, including my Mountain West game of the month, and I've got 2 5-game packages. I've got a 5-pack of underdogs and a 5-pack of favorites. I've got 1 play in hockey. I've got 3 plays in college football, including my 5-star game of the year. I only have about 10 5-stars over a 12-month period. I'm 7-0. The last 7 5-star plays going back to April. So this hopefully would be my 8th 5-star winner in a row. It's my college football game of the year, and it's up at Pick Dogs Premium right now.
Rod.
For me, these ones, I love Wake Forest here against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech on the road is definitely not but good. 0-2 against the number. They're definitely not a great road team. So I like Wake Forest here on the money line. 7-0 at home, solid team there. I like TCU, lay the points. Texas Tech on the road has just not been good. Bad road team. 0-6 ATS on the road versus teams with winning home records. Texas Tech on the road is a complete fade for me. I'll take TCU in that one. Parlay that up with Georgia Tech plus the points. All 3 of those I love. It's a pretty good spot. I like Kentucky to blow out Louisville too. the battle of the states in that one. I think Kentucky rolls in that one. And for me, over sale at Big Dogs Premium today, I've got a bunch of 3-packs. I got a 3-pack in college basketball, 3-pack in college football, 3-pack in the NHL, and my $15 NBA drop a dime play.
All right. El Ninos.
I like Charleston a lot in this one, and unless I'm missing some, this one probably should have made it as a premium play. I really think they're the better team here, laying a very reasonable number on the road. As for what I have for sale, I got to play in each of the bowl games today. I have my bowl game of the year sold separately, and then the other 3 in a 3-pack. Normally I have my best play in that 3-pack, but excluded it today. Have a 3-pack in the NHL and my best play in the NBA and college basketball up there as well. So yeah, big day for me and looking forward to it. A couple extra plays, of course, for everyone on the long term and 2-for-1 capper specials.
Chris.
Yeah, a couple plays I like here. I like Yale laying the points against Columbia. This Columbia team just terrible, regardless of where they play, home or away. Yale just beat the tar off of Monmouth in their last game, and they could do the same here. Columbia very similar to what Monmouth's done in terms of execution this year, so I'll take Yale laying the big number there. And with Ron, I'm going to lay the points with Seton Hall. I just think this is a desperate Seton Hall team that doesn't want to fall to 0-4 in conference play. St. John's, they want to push the pace here, but I think Seton Hall is going to be able to slow them down and get whatever they want offensively and just really suffocate this St. John's offense. So I like Seton Hall laying the points there. And for what I have for sale today, got a couple things on the go. Got my $15 NHL power play. Also got a 5-pack in college hoops, as well as single best bets of college football and NBA. And also use that promo code PICK for 15% off. Get a long-term pass. I got some bonus plays in there as well from the NHL and college hoops.
All right. I like Virginia Tech here against Wake. I'm going to go against Rod. Hunter Couture is one of my favorite players in all of college basketball, man. This guy, when he gets hot, woof, I mean, he can put up 30 points in 10 shots and quickly. Virginia Tech has a bunch of guys that can hit from 3. Wake, I mean, there's a reason you win 25 games and don't go to the NCAA tournament. And it's because you're Wake Forest. They're not good. I like Virginia Tech here, the winners of the ACC tournament last year when they beat Duke and Carolina in the neutral court. Going to Wake, no problemo for them. I also like I'm going to go against Romanelli too. I like St. John's against Seton Hall. I just don't think the Seton Hall team is very good. And I think St. John's can put up points in a hurry. Mike Anderson, running the show there, likes to run and gun. And, what we've seen from the Seton Hall team is that when they've been tested, they failed the test every single time. I think better days are ahead, but I don't think the days are now. I think St. John's has an NBA team. I think they're going to beat them pretty good. And that's about it for me. I also think Duke punks Florida State. Florida State's terrible. But actually, they've won 3 of their last 4. I liked them in that spot against Notre Dame, but I don't like them here at Cameron. I think the tough buildings are going to be extra tough today. Cameron, one of those, of course. Anyways, we go to the next slot of games. Got Mercer against Chattanooga. Chattanooga lost to Citadel last time out. Got Old Dominion against ULL or UL Lafayette or plain Lafayette. Any of those are acceptable. Marshall versus JMU. I was supposed to just pick out the big ones here. Utah State versus Fresno State. Davidson, Dayton, Air Force, Nevada, Steve Alford. St. Bonnie's versus UMass, Richmond, George Mason. Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona State, Arizona, Villanova, Marquette, Syracuse, Boston College, Kansas, Oak State, Iowa State, Baylor, Houston, UCF. 2:00 time slot is loaded. Ron.
Yeah, I'm going to take Syracuse and lay the number against Boston College. Beat that 2-3 zone, the Boeheim 2-3 zone. You got to be able to make those 3-point shots at a good rate, and that's just not been the case for Boston College this season. Actually, one of the worst teams in college hoops at 3-point shooting. They should be able to get some second chance looks on the offensive rebounds, but not enough to score enough points to cover this number. And Syracuse's offense, they're scoring points even without shooting the ball very well from three. So we know that there's plenty of shooters on this team, including Joe Girard, who's kind of had a slow start to the year. I expect him to sharpen up as we get towards the middle of conference play, and I think Syracuse wins this one going away. I also like Louisiana Tech plus the 5.5 points against Charlotte. I like the Charlotte team, but this is a big number to lay against a good Louisiana Tech team in these conference matchups. These two teams both play pretty well defensively. Louisiana Tech this season is able to force a lot of turnovers, good rebounding team. I think they at least cover the number, but wouldn't be surprised to see them win the game.
We didn't really see a follow through from Boston College from last year. They looked pretty good in the tournament, in the ACC tournament, but we didn't really see the follow through this year that I thought we would see. They nearly took out Miami last year in the tournament, and they won their first round game. So, but like I said, no follow through whatsoever for the season. Jay,
What time did we stop at?
2:00 Eastern, just all the 2:00 Eastern time.
All right, so I like North Texas against FIU. I led the 17. I know they just lost their last one, but I think this is a perfect bounce back spot, and I think they jump all over FIU in that one. And I'll grab the points with UTEP as well. With Rice against UTEP in that one as well. Rice has been playing some pretty good basketball.
I think you're in the wrong slot.
I am?
Yeah, you're in the 4:00 Eastern.
Oh, my bad.
So 2 Eastern. So 2 Eastern is like Arizona, Arizona State, Oklahoma, Texas, those games.
All right, well, my bad. I'll slide back.
It's all right. It's okay. Jovan? Can't hear him. He's out. Big Al.
I'm going to agree with my good friend Ron on the Syracuse Orange. Coming off that upset loss to the Pitt Panthers, 84-82, and Atlantic Coast Conference teams off upset home losses. They're 99-64 ATS versus opponents off a win. So I'll lay the 10 with Syracuse.
Rod?
Never in this time slot. I like Arizona State plus the points against Arizona. Arizona on the road, 0-1 against the number. Arizona State is a pretty solid team, and I think they keep it closer inside the number than what that is. Comes down to who's got the ball last in that game, I think. And the other one, I like Iowa State here against Baylor. That's definitely a Texas battle there, and I like Iowa State here at home. 7-0 at home. And you look Baylor on the road, 0-1 against the number. Iowa State at home is solid. I think Baylor's in trouble today. I'll take Iowa State on the money line over Baylor in that one.
Al Niños.
I'll go with Texas, lay the points there with them. And I'll go with George Mason. Richmond just been terrible on the road, so and George Mason 7-0 at home. So I think home court makes a difference in that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Arizona State here. I think Arizona State knows this is the closest that this rivalry has probably been in some time, and I think they're going to relish their chance to take care of business at home. Arizona usually would beat up on Arizona State, but I think Arizona State's got a legit shot to win this game outright. I'm going to take the points here with Arizona State, and just scouring through the rest of this time. So I like UMass on the road against St. Bonaventure. The line has flipped, but I think it's flipped for a good reason. I think this UMass team is the better team in this matchup, and I think UMass finds a way to get it done there. So I'll take UMass laying the points there.
Jovan, we're doing the 2:00 time slot, 2:00 Eastern.
Right, and I'm on UMass in this one. Like the better when they was getting the point, but it doesn't really matter. I'll take them minus the 1.5. To me, they're just a better team. Both of these teams are talented, young teams, but the coaching, I like the coaching of Frank Martin. It was a good hire by UMass. Didn't really expect them to do it, and that's been paying dividends this year, and they'll continue to today. So I'll take the Minutemen.
Take VCU against LaSalle. I think LaSalle, Fran Dunphy's got a lot of work to do there. I think eventually he does it, but this year it doesn't seem like he's getting it done there. So I'm going to take VCU in that one. I also like Richmond against George Mason. Possible money line, that one too. Go to our next slot. Youngstown PFW. Let's see if we got any big ones here. Got Stanford, Utah. We got that North Texas FIU game that Jay likes. Got a lot of fill-in games. San Jose State, Colorado State, UNLV, San Diego State, Wyoming, New Mexico. And Gonzaga, Pepperdine, Cal, Colorado. New Mexico State, Sam Houston State, Kansas State, West Virginia, Oregon, Oregon State, BYU, Portland, and in the last game of the year, Hawaii versus Cal Poly.
Yeah, I'm going to take ACU, Abilene Christian. We know one of my favorite teams in college hoops. I think this matchup benefits them. Both these teams play a pretty similar style. They both like to force a lot of turnovers defensively, not necessarily worried about the offensive when it comes to a half-court offense, but they're most the offense that they're used to is scoring on the fast break. And Tarleton's 6th ranked in turnover percentage on defense, Abilene Christian 37th. So I think we're going to see a lot of fast break points, and this is a pretty low total. But I actually think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Like I said, a lot of turnovers leading to quick buckets on the other end, and both teams pretty decent shooting from the perimeter. At least ACU, as of late, it's been red hot, and they're now 18th in the country in three-point shooting. So I lean towards ACU, and I like the over in that game as well.
Jay?
I like ACU in that game as well against Tarleton. Tarleton, I like to bet them a lot. I used to be out there a lot, and but in this one, I just think Abilene Christian is a better team. These are two teams that fly under the radar, that cover quite a few in a lot of games. But I think Abilene Christian is the better team here in this one, and I think they will go ahead and lay those points. And in the other one I like in this slot, I like Kansas State at home against West Virginia. Kansas State has been solid, man. I think they're underrated at 11-1. I think they're probably the better team in West Virginia, and I think at this price, I think some people are just gonna take West Virginia because they're the ranked team. Kansas State is not. And I think that they might be in trouble in that one. So I like Kansas State on the money line in that one at that even line.
Al Niños.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rice. And this line is getting better for us. So I'd wait on this one, and yeah, gonna take the points and probably take them a little bit on the money line as well.
Big Out.
I'll look at the Kansas State WVU game at home. Kansas State has covered the spread by 4.33 points per game. On the road, they failed to cover the spread by 3.25 points per game. Today, of course, they're at home. I'll take Kansas State minus the 1.
Rod?
For me, these ones I like San Diego State lay the points against UNLV. I know San Diego State 3-9 against the number, but those have just had some big numbers they've been trying to cover. So I like San Diego State there lay the points against UNLV. The other one I like in this time spot, go down. I like Gonzaga. Pepperdine on the road. Definitely not a good spot for Pepperdine. 0-4 against the number. The Zags pound Pepperdine in that one. I think they win by 30 plus in that one. So lay the points with the Zags. And the other one, I like Loyola Marymount against Pacific. Pacific stinks. Lay the points. 4.5. You need to blow up Pacific by 4.5. Take the Mount in that one. That's really I like that spot.
Chris?
I'm going to go with Oregon State plus the points against Oregon. Just a rivalry game. A lot of times we just say you could throw records and stuff like that out the window. And Oregon, they've already had a couple of blips at home this season. They lost to I'm trying to remember here. They lost to Utah Valley in their last game, and they also got beat up at home by Houston. I'm not likening Oregon State to Houston by any stretch, but I'm just saying it used to be that Oregon was invincible at home. But it hasn't been the case this season. Oregon State, they've already, gone on the road, almost beat USC in conference play as 14-point dogs. I still remember that game earlier this season where they only lost to Duke by 3. I think they could go on the road, keep this one fairly close. So I'll take Oregon State plus the points in that one. And I'm going to take San Francisco laying the points against San Diego. I just think San Francisco the better team, being at home. going to help him here. I haven't liked what I've seen from San Diego for much of the season. 1-3 straight up and against the spread on the road. I think San Francisco wins that one by 15 plus.
I think this is what happens when you end up going last every time you end up disagreeing with people that have already gone. I think that's just what happens when you got 7 people going in front of you. But I'm going to take UNLV against San Diego State. I think they win it outright. I liked what I saw from UNLV last season in a very, very tough Mountain West. And I think San Diego State is a good team, but I think that we've seen them struggle at times, and I think UNLV can upset them. I just think this UNLV team might be the under the radar guys in the Mountain West. I think they're one of the ones to watch. The other one I was looking at also was St. Mary's against Santa Clara. I think that, St. Mary's really, is the far better team here. Santa Clara, we've seen rise up and beat some teams, here and there. They compete, obviously. But St. Mary's is a way better team. They've played murderer's row of a schedule here. And 11-4 against the schedule that they faced. I think, a lot of times we can argue about St. Mary's getting into the tournament or not getting into the tournament. And, they need to beat Gonzaga to get in or something like that. They might beat Gonzaga once this year, and I think they get in either way, as long as they do decently enough in their conference. I think they've done enough in this out-of-conference schedule to deserve it. I like St. Mary's in that one. And last but not least, I like BYU against Portland. Portland, I liked earlier this season. They paid good dividends for me, but as of late, man, they've been stinking up the joint something fierce. Not as bad as the Terry Porter Portland teams, but not good either. A Terry Porter Portland teams that left a mark. That's the bad stuff. They wouldn't fire him because they wanted him to have to watch another year of that crap on the floor like we had to watch. It's terrible, man. Anyways, that's about it. That wraps up the schedule. We'll parlay it up, Ron. What are you doing?
I'm going to take Syracuse, lay the points, Oklahoma City Thunder, plus the points, and let's throw in the under in TCU, Michigan.
What about the Colorado Avalanche? You want to throw those in there? Would you put the Avalanche in there as well, the fourth team?
I'll do reverse puck line, Canucks and Avalanche at discretion of Mitch.
Do yourself a favor. Put a little something on there. Jay.
Yeah, I got a 5-team money line parlay, man. It's kind of ugly, but I think we go green on this one. We're going Alabama on the money line. We're going Michigan on the money line. Then we're going to the NBA. We got 3. We're going Jazz on the money line. We're going to smash the damn Heat. We're going Mavs on the money line, and we're going Grizzlies on the money line. 5-teamer, 100, pay 450.
Al Ninos.
Go Mavs first quarter, Nets first quarter, and the over in the Bama game.
Not a little -1 in there. Somebody -1 just to.
If you want to extend it to hockey, you go Vegas -1 on
all right.
team, right?
All right. That's what I'm looking for. Big Al.
I'll take Michigan at plus 280 to win the title and parlay that with Kansas State -1 against West Virginia.
Rod.
We're going to take the Vancouver Canucks on the money line. We're going to take Georgia, lay the 6 points, and we're going to take Gonzaga, lay the points. Parlay those 3 up.
Chris.
I'm going to go with Georgia laying the points. In the football game, I'm going to go with Syracuse laying the points, Arizona State plus the points, and the Chicago Bulls plus the points.
TCU money line, Kansas State money line, with the Vancouver Canucks, and of course, Colorado Avalanche reverse puck line. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a great 2022. I promise 2023 is going to be better. The show is going to change a little bit, but a lot of same things that you like about the show will still be here. Some of the things you don't like about the show will probably be involved as well. But I think it's going to be a more focused show and a more professional show, because I did spend an entire year saying I was going to try and act more professional tomorrow. But I just think, we're always trying to bring things to the next level. And we will be doing that this year in a big, big way. So thanks everyone for being part of Pick Dogs and our Pick Dogs family this year. I'm excited for 2023. It's going to be the biggest and best year ever. as soon as 2021 was ended, we started planning. All right. Thanks, everyone. Make it a winning day. Aloha. Ahui ho.